You do this to Nina Agdal and Logan Paul. They're big public figures. Sean Strickland is incidentally famous because he's a fighter. His girl's a civilian, but Sean is legitimately crazy. He will kill you. So Sean Strickland defaults to, let's take it to the desert so I can put you underneath the ground pretty quickly in most situations. But I don't think that, you're actually in fear of him trying to actually put you in the ground in most cases. I think Dillon Danis may have found a way to make that not the case, where Sean actually might try to kill him now. And I'm going to show you what he did in a recently deleted X post or tweet, whichever you prefer. And this is coming the morning after, on the day that Sean Strickland pulverized a social media influencer with nearly no boxing experience. He went to power slap that night and almost got into a fight with another totally unworthy adversary who is a rock star, but definitely not a fighter, who didn't start anything at all. Sean just didn't like the look of his clothes, and so he turned that into an altercation. Obviously, we're going to show you that as well. If Dillon Danis starts saying things about your girl on X, it's a serious thing for you to take. If he posts anything, you got to be like, if this guy, you know what I mean? Like, you can expect that he's going to continue to escalate on that, and doing it on Strickland's girl, who I've heard nothing but very good things. I mean, everybody is like, how is this, all his coaches and teammates, they're like, she's the nicest person in the world. He seems to love her a lot. And he is not a very stable person, as we've seen in the last 2 days. So I'm going to show you exactly what Dillon Danis posted. And then we're going to talk about some additional instances of Sean being extremely unstable in the last couple days. He's getting clout on the internet for this stuff, but you're like, okay, guys, listen, I'm a big Strickland fan too. I don't need to be best friends with a guy to support their career. And I like the fact that Strickland says whatever he wants into microphones and tells the media to go fuck themselves in places where I wish I was in a position to do that. So I like that. But if you're like a lap dog that just blindly sits there and goes like this at everything a person does, then that's just weird. And I'm a grown up, so I can like look at things and just go, what is like, why? Because the thing with Sneako, I watched that again, dude. I want to talk about that again. And then also he got into it with Machine Gun Kelly at Slap last night. Now, am I a Machine Gun Kelly fan? No, of course not. But there's a lot to talk about there, because maybe even if I don't like a guy, doesn't mean I have to sign off on every single thing that could happen that's bad for him. But one thing that I actually meant to say to everybody yesterday about Sneako is everyone's like, yeah, dude, Sneako, influencer. I'm telling you right now, anybody who said that, you have not watched his content, okay? Like, if you're a fan of my channel, then believe me, if you actually go to Rumble and watch Sneako stuff, you'll be all, oh, wow, he's like really one of us. Sneako is not on YouTube because he got booted, because he talked about the jab and he talked about all the things that we get frustrated we're not allowed to talk about, all the stuff that Strickland said to the Canadians that everyone's like, yes, Strickland. So dude, Sneako sacrificed his YouTube channel because he went so hard on that stuff. He's also really smart. But we're going to start with the Dillon Danis story first. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel yet, join this community. I love all of you guys, even when the trolls troll. I love you guys. But most of you guys just have good conversations in the comments. I don't see high-level conversations on other channels like I do here, and I really appreciate that. I read all the comments. So go ahead and subscribe, ring the bell, and like this video. Now, I also want to thank the sponsor of this video, Happy Hippo. Listen, if you are a kratom person and you like creative, incredible ways to get that stuff into your body, this is an amazing site with amazing products. They specifically say not to make the ads long because they don't want to bother the users. They just want me to put it on your radar, and that's what I'm doing. This is my favorite product. These energy kratom shots, they are the bomb. Take them like a speedball with the, the nootropics that Gabrielle and I sell, and it is the bomb. Everyone's all, Jesse, you look like you're on meth. I'm like, no. I'm just, I did one of these with the nootropics that Gabrielle and I sell. Jesse on fire at checkout. You'll save a bunch of money. And now let's dive down a rabbit hole of Sean Strickland unhinged and Dillon Danis trying to get himself killed. All right, so first of all, This is from Dillon Danis, January 21st. So clearly he has been trying to cultivate this beef for weeks, right? I don't know if this is based on anything or if he's just clout chasing. But here's what he put up this morning in a since deleted tweet. He said, Sean Strickland talking all that shit. Meanwhile, his girl looks like this. I was like, obviously he didn't have my logos on it. I'm not putting her face on this. I haven't seen her very much publicly, which means she's not a person who is seeking out limelight, and thus I'm not going to be responsible for putting any images up of her. If Sean wants to put, pictures up of her, he can. Obviously, I mean, he could do. Oh, really, Jesse? You give Sean permission to share pictures of his girl? I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to do it if I'm just not going to do it, period, because she's not a public figure, like I said. So this is what Dillon put up this morning. And if you're trying to guesstimate what Sean Strickland's reaction is or was going to be, assuming that he did see this, so I would point you in the direction of this little incident that happened yesterday where Jake Paul tweeted, Sean Strickland, you're embarrassing for trying to stop Sneako like that. You weren't even able to drop someone with no experience while going all out. You're a horde boxer that only picks on inexperienced people. I'll fly you to Puerto Rico. We can fight on camera. If you win, I'll give you $1 million, half your net worth. I can't read this without pointing out how absurd it is that Jake Paul is so fucking rich that he flexed on a guy's net worth being $2 million, only being $2 million. He's like, half your net worth, you little low seven figures, bitch. And then he said, but if you get dropped, you have to get better tattooed on you. DM me. But just like Patty, I'm guessing you'll find a way to run. So number one, I think that Jake Paul could absolutely bait Sean Strickland into doing this, just not with money. That would violate his contract. Actually, I'll get into that in 1 second. So this is how Sean responded to an innocuous challenge to a sparring match that Jake Paul was going to fly him out for because he thought it was bullying that Sean beat up on Sneako. So just challenged him to a sparring match, and Strickland went to, actually, Jake, I'll make you a better deal because money can't buy happiness and you have plenty of it and you're still a cunt. No cameras, me and you in a desert. That would buy my happiness. No Instagram, no likes, no games, just you, and that's what I want. And almost immediately afterwards, we escalated to, I wish we can go back to the days where shit people would just die. Our founding fathers would have murdered him a long time ago. Instead, you have to listen to them talk on Twitter across the country. And then right above that, something about question why you exist on Earth, tragedy of your life. So listen, so my point is that Sean Strickland escalated things to people in the ground like that because Jake didn't like that he beat up Sneako and challenged him to a sparring match. What's my point? What do you think he's going to do when you put pictures up of his actual girl? That's like, hey man, I didn't like that you bullied that guy. Let's spar. That's like a 2. You put pictures up of his girl to that guy. He doesn't have kids. He's not married. The only stability this guy has in his life is that girl. You put her up, you threaten that girl. Now, coming from anyone, Sean is probably going to fly off the handle, and most people would. But coming from Dillon specifically, after what happened with Nina and Logan, that's a serious, serious threat to the girl, who especially is not a public figure and does not want attention. I can't even imagine what Strickland's reaction to that is going to be, or if he was when he saw, or will be when he figures out that actually happened. I mean, I can only speak from experience. And listen, like, I'm under no misconceptions about how cool it sounds for people when they're like, I'm going to go beat this guy up, or like, let's meet in the desert and kill each other. I will take you down in dirt. Anybody talking about things they're going to do to people is not like, that's not like a flex. You sound like a sorry ass, generally speaking, most of the time. I couldn't help myself on that Nina drama video just because, God, like if a dude threatens to sexually assault a girl, like I can't explain where my brain goes. It's like the same kind of thing as if you actually watched a video of a girl being violently assaulted and you just be like, I will kill this dude. If I got my hands on this guy. It's kind of like, well, if a guy would wish that on her, then he would probably enjoy watching a video of that happening. And a person like that, it's like, it just hits a different part of your brain if you're me. So, and I watched that video back. I'm like, Jesus, I just sound like a spaz. But in this vein, I will just tell you a 100% honest story about the exact same thing here, which was, I mean, listen, dude, there are pictures of my wife and my daughters all over the place. I don't hide them. They're on my Instagram. By the way, go follow me on Instagram. you know, I mean, geez. But there was an incident maybe 2 years ago where someone put my daughter's face on a thumb. They were trying to troll. They were trolling me, and they put a picture of my oldest daughter's face on a thumbnail with a caption about grooming, like, you know, like sexually grooming someone, and it had my daughter's face on it. And dude, I'm telling you, that's the only time in my life where a part of my brain woke up that was whatever is that thing that would come awake if someone ever actually got into the realm of like sexually abusing your own kid. I completely fucking flipped out. I went on to this guy's live stream and told him, I made extremely over the top threats. And I'm telling you, absolutely for sure, if I knew where that dude lived, if he was like in my, you know, in my neighborhood and I knew where he lived, I would have fucking kicked his door in and I would have dragged him into the street and I would have beat him within an inch of his life. Absolutely, as certain as I'm telling you that I know my first name is Jesse, that would have happened that night. I completely lost it. Like, fucking lost it. And even his fucking troll viewers were like, bro, get his fucking daughter's picture off your thumbnail. And he took it down. I actually know the guy now. He's cool. But that was obviously a misstep. And just to reiterate, I'm not telling you this story because I think it's cool to talk about hypothetical make-believe fights that didn't actually happen. But my point is, like, I am 10 times more in control of my reactions to things than Strickland is. And so if I got there, you know, like, Strickland's probably going to be in a place where he will legitimately stick a pointy object into Dillon Danis now anytime he sees him. Like, I mean, he wanted to go to the desert with Jake Paul, and I realize that probably falls into the realm of like, come on, you know, come on. You want to fight to the death? But you talk about his girl, he put his girl's pictures up on the internet. If you're Dillon Danis, like Sean Strickland, I don't know, man. He also did another post that I'm not going to share because I thought it was super fucked up. Like, you know, when I say this shit's fucked up, like when I'm talking about this, I'll cover her face up, but you know, it's not like a whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's not me. I'm just saying I think Sean's going to flip out. He put up another post that I won't even share. I won't put it up. I won't give it any airtime. It's deleted. I'm not going to give it any airtime. If you saw it, then you saw it. But yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so that is the Dillon Danis story. So we'll see where that goes. So now we're going to move over to the Machine Gun Kelly story and Strickland getting into it with Machine Gun Kelly. But before we do, I wanted to talk a little bit more about this about the Sneako thing, because I think it sets the stage really well for this thing that happened last night, right? So I watched the Sneako fight again, and Sneako I mean, listen, dude, there's only one take that's correct. Sneako should not have been in there. Jake Shields told him not to go in. He said it's not a good idea, and Sneako was like, but I already said I was going to do it. I can't back out now. I respect that. I really respect that, actually, because Jake Shields, one of the most experienced and credible fighters in the world, was like, do not do this, dude. And he's like, I gave my word, man. I'm not going to back out. I would rather take the beating than back out after I said that I would do it because I was afraid. That's gangster shit, dude. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Like, bottom line, that's a gangster ass move. Because he obviously didn't know what he was getting into. He's like, yeah, I'll spar Sean Strickland. He's assuming, incorrectly assuming that Sean Strickland has like a little bit of humanity in him, where it's like, okay, he's the middleweight champion. He's not like, why would he go 100% on me? Like, I just started doing this, which would be a valid assumption if Sean was literally any other person on the face of the earth. You know what I mean? Like, the reason why people love Sean Strickland is because you know exactly what you're going to get with him, dude. He is exactly who he is. Authenticity trumps everything else. That is why he's so popular, is authenticity is so rare that it trumps every other thing, right? That's why I say on my channel, where I already know the life cycle of viewers. They see me the first couple times, they're like, fuck this guy. Who is this fucking asshole? And then they watch 3 or 4 more times. They're like, oh, this is really who this guy is. Like, he's not doing a show. Like, this is really his authentic self. And then they're like, oh, I do like him, because you like everyone who's authentic. Or I do. You know what I mean? Even if my first impression is kind of like, I'm like, oh, dude, as soon as you realize a person is really just genuinely telling you what they think all the time, then you have a positive reaction to them. And that's what you get with Sean. Even though if you just remove the authenticity, just look at behavior, you're like, what the fuck? Why the hell would he do that? Like, why the fuck would he beat the shit out of this guy? Like, why would he go 100% on this fucking dude who has absolutely no chance? Why would he feel the need to like break down, belittle, and then try to humiliate and hurt this dude who's like just getting started? I just can't relate to it at all. Like, my instinct is to connect with people and try to help people. Just like regular folks. I never have the instinct of like, I look at a guy, I'm like, influencer, you know, or any other thing, you know. Let's take this guy down a couple pegs. How about I humiliate him and then hurt him physically and make sure he knows he's not a man. Make sure he knows he's not a man. And it's like, why, dude? Like, I don't understand. And this, believe me, plays directly into the Machine Gun Kelly story because he did it to Machine Gun Kelly. It's like same day, dude. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. There is no difference between him beating the shit out of Sneako and him going out of his way to like punk Machine Gun Kelly, who they didn't fucking even know. He literally had never seen him before. He's like, who's this fucking weirdo with Megan Fox? And he just punked him for like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a fucking Machine Gun Kelly fan. You know what I mean? He's a rock star. He's a fucking weirdo. Like every other rock star, dude. They're like band kid weirdos, and then they get into drugs and they're all, oh my God, my life is so fucking hard. I just can't stop doing drugs. And then they let all their pain out into the music, and then the music's good. And it's like, all right, cool. But then they go home, they're all, you don't understand. Having millions and millions of dollars and having Megan Fox ride my cock backwards is just not enough for me. I just can't take it. I might just eat a bullet. Machine Gun Kelly actually, for real, in a documentary, said that he was going to off himself. That shit. So when I tell you I don't have any love for Machine Gun Kelly, I cannot like exaggerate. I have no love for this guy. I don't like hate him or anything, but the fucking audacity of that guy, Machine Gun fucking Kelly, multi-millionaire, one of the biggest rock stars in the fucking world, you know, together with Megan Fox, one of the biggest dimes in the world, to go on a documentary and be like, I had the gun in my mouth. Even if that's true, are you so fucking delusional and completely out of touch that you don't recognize the real struggles that people have in the world? Do you have any idea what people would do to be you? They would, most just regular Americans, me definitely not one of them, but most regular Americans would literally sacrifice 15 to 20 years of their lifespan to live as you for that amount of time. You know, like if it's like, okay, how old are you? They're like 45. You're like, all right, listen, man, I've got a crystal ball. You're going to live to be 70. They're like, all right. And you're like, so 25 more years. They're like, all right. You're like, I'll tell you what, you can live for 9 more years instead of the 25, but you get to be Machine Gun Kelly instead of yourself. How many people do you think are going to take that deal? A lot, dude. Like a lot are going to take that deal. They would sacrifice 70% of their lifespan to be you for the 9 years. So you telling us that you, oh my God, the gun in my mouth. Shut the fuck up, you spoiled pussy. Go talk to your therapist about that shit. You don't put it in a documentary to a bunch of people who look at you like, wow, this is the best life ever. Because if it's hopeless for you, what the fuck do they have to look forward to? You out of touch fucking delusional pussy. Jesus. And that's my example of me not wanting to break down strangers for no reason. What a fucking idiot. That's all I see in these incidents from Strickland is like, now if he goes after someone who has challenged him, all day, but like these people who are non-worthy adversaries who are not challenging him at all, and he's just like, I need to break them down. That's what I see. Is I'm like, you need to check that instinct, dude. Why? Like, why does that make you feel good? Like, you beat the shit out of Sneako, and he was so fucking proud of himself, you know, and he's laughing. He's coming up to Sneako. He's like, all right, yeah, now I can hold him up. It's like, because I've established like I'm the fucking man and you ain't shit. But now I can hold you up and be like, hey, you're going to get more views from that anyway, dude. You're welcome. You're welcome. Little bitch, put your fucking hand in my pocket. It's like, I mean, did you need to beat him up for everyone to know that you could beat him up? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even understand. Anyway, but so let's watch the Machine Gun Kelly thing.
What just happened with Machine Gun Kelly?
I don't know who the fuck that guy is. Go.
What happened?
I'm easy to find, vampire man.
Hey, you're cool off him or what? You're cool off him?
Say what?
You're cool off him?
I got your back, Sean. Don't trip. I got your back.
See what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, again, I hopefully don't need to like edit myself, edit the clip of myself talking about how I think Machine Gun Kelly is an out of touch crybaby weirdo who has absolutely not even one like finger in reality. Like, I had a gun in my mouth. Shut the fuck up, you spoiled pussy. Doesn't understand his impact on the world. Doesn't understand that he's like, you can do a lot of things. Complain in public ain't one of them, motherfucker. But again, it's one thing for me to critique his documentary. It's another, like, you meet him in person and you're like, oh, this guy is kind of tall and looks maybe like he's rich or something. It's like, hey, you're just like a fucking weirdo. It's like, what? Like, you know what I mean? I just don't understand it, dude. I don't understand it. But he did it, So yeah, I don't know, dude. I like I said, I'm fucking rooting for Strickland. I think Strickland, if he ends up headlining 300, if it's or I don't know about headlining, but if he ends up on 300 and ends up, I think that the reception he will get from the crowd will be absolutely enormous. But I'm going to ask you guys an honest question. And you can tell me the answer. I'm actually going to start this right now because I'm going to put it at the beginning of the video. So I am of the contention that Sean Strickland, if he would have headlined 300 against Dricus as, the rematch against Dricus, if he was the headliner of UFC 300, he would have walked into the stadium and no one would receive even remotely close to the reception Jesus. Hey, good luck. You're going to put this at the very beginning. A really awesome take. No one would receive the level of reception that Sean Strickland would, right? That's what I've been saying. That's where I stand. Do you think that his reception from the crowd went up or down after yesterday, after him beating up Sneako? People can say whatever they want online, but do you think he's more likely to have a passionate, let's go, Sean? Like, more or less? I mean, he's still going to be there. He's still going to be very, very positive. But I'm telling you right now, it's less, for sure. No one likes a bully, dude. No one likes a bully. People love people who stand up to bullies. That's what Sean's brand has been. That's the whole thing, dude. He's fucking it up. Like, Sean's fucking it up. He's not doing it on purpose, and he's probably acting like he doesn't care, but he should, because he has one of the best things going in the entire industry. And that is that he speaks for the little man. Like, he's defending bullies. He's standing up to the institutions. He's the one that will sit on a microphone in front of the world and tell those guys to go F themselves. That's Sean Strickland standing up for the little guy. He's the opposite of a bully. He is defending people against the bullies. That's his brand. You want to know what is the exact opposite of that? Beating the living shit out of a guy who's 50 pounds heavy or lighter than you, who went in there like, oh my God, I can't believe I get the opportunity to spar with Sean Strickland. And you go in there and you humiliate him and then beat the living shit out of him. And then later in that night, Machine Gun Kelly, who is obviously a non-worthy adversary, just comes up. He's like, hi man, congratulations on your thing. You're like, you look like a fucking weirdo. Why are you dressed like a fucking girl? It's like, you're the bully now, dude. You're the bully. Why are you being the bully? And with that, we're out of here. Dillon Danis is crazy, and Sean Strickland is not going to take that very well, I don't think. So anyway, I love you guys. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Peace.